coming into recovery, for the first time, I experienced people with altruism, people who were doing things just because it's the right thing to do. People who genuinely cared about me and would help me out, not expecting any rewards, not expecting anything to come back, but simply because they just wanted to see me grow.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's edition of Recovery Happens. Today we have Elijah, who's here to offer hope and encourage recovery.
Life for me growing up, I was born to two parents who were 16 years old, so it was kind of rough on them growing up. I bounced around between the two families. Around 12 years old, I had a bad experience with my mom where she decided to give herself to prostitution and was a drug addict herself. And it caused a lot of problems for me growing up. Introduced me to violence, drug use, and obviously the prostitution. So it was a little bit tough growing up, but my dad was there for me, and I was fortunate enough to at least have one present parent. I think the things that would have prevented me from using in the first place, first of all, would have been me accepting the resources that were available to me. Unfortunately, I wasn't willing to do that in the beginning of my addiction, but I think just having an awareness of who I am, what makes me tick, and what resources were available to me would have helped me immensely, because honestly, I only got to where I am today because of the community and the fellowship that I made here. I didn't do this by myself, so if I would have had that available to me back then and was willing to accept that back then I think that would have prevented me from ever going as far as I did in my addiction. For me, drugs and alcohol became a problem, I would say probably freshman year of high school. I was always athletic. I enjoyed playing sports a lot, and sometimes when you play sports, injuries come. And that was my first introduction to pain pills. And although my drug of choice altered from regular opiates and pain pills, that was my first introduction, was my freshman year of high school. Drugs and alcohol are actually just a byproduct of my disease. Today I know that my disease is a deficiency here and a deficiency here. That drugs and alcohol were just a way for me to escape my reality, my feelings, and the things that needed to be dealt with while I was in my addiction. The way that drugs and alcohol affected my body was made me a lot leaner, curbed my appetite, and made me look sickly. Probably took some years off my life too, but mostly it affected me psychologically and caused a lot of problems for me. Drug-induced psychosis, hospital visits. I also neglected my personal health and hygiene a lot during my addiction. My environment while using was one of users, and I guess by saying that, everybody I surrounded myself with wanted something. I didn't associate with people unless I was getting something from that person and they were getting something from me. Every interaction, every person that I came in contact with, it was self-centered. Everybody was serving self and seeking for themselves, and they would do whatever it takes to achieve what they wanted. If that meant throwing people under the bus, it meant throwing people under the bus. Setting people up, it meant setting people up. And it put me in some real bad situations. I got in with a lot of the wrong people, and my attitudes almost got me killed quite a few times. On the flip side of that, coming into recovery, for the first time I experienced people with altruism, people who were doing things just because it's the right thing to do. People who genuinely cared about me and would help me out, not expecting any rewards, not expecting anything to come back, but simply because they just wanted to see me grow and become better. So it was one of the first times in my life that strangers had shown me love. People that I didn't necessarily know had shown me love and accepted me for who I am, where I was at, and helped me to get to where I am today. My biggest triumph in recovery, I couldn't give you just one. I'm going to give you two, and I'll try to keep them short. But one would be mending my relationship with my mother and allowing her and myself the chance to heal from that past relationship and not hold on to all that resentment and negative connotations that came along with it. And the second would be being able to be a father to my children, being able to be present for them, because there was a time I wasn't, So being able to get them back, be there for them, it really is my purpose, and that's why I do what I do today. I try to pass that message on, try to carry hope with me each day, because my purpose is to help other people who struggle the same way that I did.
Thank you for watching this edition of Recovery Happens. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, please give us a call at 888-68-BW-ROCK.